I'm going to kind of phrase this into the next thing, and this is a bit more of a serious, in-depth question on a similar topic. You see a lot of bad, negative PR news stories that come out about the SEALs. That whether it's drugs, entire groups getting fired, whatever it might be. You don't really see like there's not a flood of Delta stories, negative headlines. Granted, there's been issues. They're human. There's going to be issues. Is that a maturity thing? Why do you not hear about the same issues you do hear from the Navy SEALs? You don't hear anything like that coming out of Delta.
Yeah, I think uh so it's different with DevGru too though, because they're a little less because most of it you hear are from the rest of the other SEAL teams, right?
Right.
So Dev is a little bit better, a lot better than the other teams. I don't know. It's a different mindset, really. I mean, we're coming from a totally different place to begin with. Um, and again, that really, I think, sets the stage for all that stuff.
Gotcha. I am curious now. Uh, if you're in Delta, obviously you talk about how an
I'm going to hear
OTC.
it from all my guys that I know that were in dev too.
Well, trust me, your answer has been very diplomatic, kind of just sticking to the
I
your
can't
your
wait.
points. I have had some Delta guys go in on that question, getting hyper specific. I'll tell when I'm done when we turn off the recording, I'll tell you the best answer I ever got. I can't repeat it and post it on the internet. But if you're Delta, you said mistakes are not tolerated in OTC really. Once you're on a squadron, I've heard guys say it's the hardest job in the world to get and it's the easiest to lose. What are some examples of things that are guaranteed to get you fired from Delta Force if you do them?
It's all based on your decisions, right? Because in OTC, it's like, hey, that was one. The next time you're gone, right? In squadron, it might take on a more personal thing, right? Like, okay, hey man, you're not here today. You're something going on. You need to go take care of it and get back here when your head's straight. Um, so there's that, but there's also, I mean, if it's a serious thing in town or like a DUI or something like that, and you get into trouble that way, there's no tolerance for that. It's like you got to try to that's like okay, you're gonna have to sit on the bench, and then where else do you want to work, kind of thing. Um, Over the years, though, I mean, it's still like, we know you're going through something, kind of thing. So it's more of a conversation if because you know everybody and what they're going through, and so it's dealt with. It's not just like you're a problem child. Go if you're having an issue and it could be you need help, then they're going to do that. But that's when you get into squatting and you're already rolling there for a while.
Is there more tolerance for mistakes that are performance based over like if you just turn out to be a shitty human and you just turn out to be, a bad person for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
are they just going to cut ties and say see you later, as to where like if you've been injured, you're not as quick in CQB, maybe they still phase you out but it's dealt with in a much politer, softer way?
Yeah, kinda. It's I mean, it really is. It's really you have to be ready, right? And if you're not ready, then all right, it not a big deal. You're just not ready. Gonna have to go somewhere else. If it's a disciplinary thing, that's a whole nother thing. Um, yeah, there's no favoritism. I mean, it literally is a readiness thing. If I'm not ready and I know it, I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm not ready to go on this mission or whatever it is, right? And they're like, hey, Roger that. Thanks for saying that, right? Because there was a time that I had to do that, but there. So I've heard this other like analogy, um, like every day you show up for work and you might not, your badge might not work, right? It's like it doesn't work like that quite like that, but I never felt that kind of a pressure that I might not leave. I might have to go somewhere else today. But it is a performance thing. You're expected to perform at 100% when you show up. the whole time you're there. And if you're not, yeah, it's the you'll your teammates will come down on you. And so it starts there. Your teammates will get in and make sure you're straight, but they'll also know if you're dealing with things. Um, so it's either right away because hey, we told you once, we're not going to tell you again, and you did it again. All right, you're gone. Um, so there's yeah, some leeway, but there's expected performance, all the time. It's like, they're not gonna uh but they'll help you. It's like where you want to work because you're not working here anymore, right? They'll help you find another job. And it won't be a disciplinary kind of thing. You'll just be you know, shit happens.
I've got two questions left for you, and the last one is one that someone suggested, but the second to last one is, and I love hearing different answers to this. In the movies, there's always this like red phone, and right before the world is going to end, the red phone goes off, and it's like if we don't find someone in 10 minutes, something terrible is going to happen. Is that the stuff like that actually exists? Like there's a phone, and if you pick that phone up, someone is going to be on the other end of that, and we have 5, 10, 15 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it might be. We got to go right now, or something really bad is going to happen. Or is that just Hollywood fiction?
Mm, so there is yes, that is somewhat true. So we were always held at I think it was 18 hours, be anywhere in the world in 18 hours. That's from coming from your homes, wherever you're at, to get your stuff on, get to the airfield and go. So to a certain extent, yes. Mostly though, you'll know it's coming.
Got it. So a little bit of both. There you go. That's for last one. I recently interviewed a former member of the SAS, Lindsay Bruce, in first ever SAS guy I interviewed. And people were like, "You got to get a Delta operator's opinion on the SAS," because the SAS guy, had a ton of things to say about the unit because they'd cross trained. He
Mhm.
deployed to Iraq with them. What is your opinion as a former Delta Force member of the SAS in England?
Yep, they're good. Yeah, they're good. And they have they used to be more oriented towards their domestic responsibilities because they can actually operate in England as well. So they're actually so back to the Princess Gate thing back in the day, right? They can do that. We can't because we're Army and Pas Comitatus and all that stuff. We can't operate within the United States. But since the GWAT and that's all the time they spent in the war zones, they're a little bit more combat oriented. And I think that their counterparts over in Australia are the same way. They're good though. They're good at what they do.
There you go. You heard it right from Bob. Well, Bob, hang back. I'm going to kill this recording here in a second because I want to tell you that SEAL Team 6 Delta story I was told. But Bob, I really appreciate it. Could you tell people real quick if they're interested in learning more of your stories, where they can follow you maybe on social media?
Yeah, Shinobi Bob on Instagram, ninjabobsolutions.com for the website. And from that website, you can go to any of the other social media stuff.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for Bob and Bob joining me today, and we'll call it a day right there.
Yeah, thanks for having me.